People were going to get Ebola first, right? Everyone's going to get Ebola. I told you weren't going to get Ebola. And now it's the dreaded superbug, so-called. And I say print media is doing the public a tremendous disservice by putting headlines about so-called superbugs. That is insanity, in my opinion. 3 excellent hospitals have been making headlines because some equipment, some medical equipment, 2, in fact, got infected with bacteria that doesn't respond to antibiotics. It can be very serious. They identified it. They took care of it. But Dr. Lloyd, my concern is this whole term superbug. Listen, back when I was a resident 30 years ago, we had Acinetobacter all over our ICU. That's why we have infection control departments and nurses monitoring everything in the hospital, especially in the ICU. It's not something that just started.
No, it's not true. And I think we're looking at the wrong end of the problem, if you will. This is something all about protecting these infections from happening. Every single one of those cases could be protected. So instead of hype, one man's hype become another person's education. The message here for your viewers, the millions of viewers that you have, is that whenever you go to the doctor's office and are going to have a procedure, ask questions. What devices will be using? Will you be sharing devices? Are they actually disinfected? Do you attempt to sterilize them or not? There's some simple steps you could take. Make sure you're the first one of the day to have one of these procedures. The best chance that the equipment's been properly sterilized overnight and just start clean. But what we learned from the hospital in Los Angeles at UCLA was that there were teams that were using these same instruments, and they were changing them over so quickly. Instead of having a sufficient number of these scopes, they were manually cleaning them and getting away with it for a good long while.
No. That's not what was happening. What was happening was the way the machine is manufactured. There's a potential for certain kinds of bacteria to stick on the metal. And even when they stick the brushes through, when they use the glutaraldehyde, there's still a potential for the bacteria to hide there. And when it's a CRE, which is what these big superbugs are called, carbapenem-resistant enterobacteriaceae, they've been around forever. Jamie, I'll ask you, you walk in an ICU, the people aren't telling you, watch out for infection control, watch out where there may be an Acinetobacter or a Klebsiella sitting around the unit. They're all over the place. Listen, Bobby Christina Brown's going to end up with one of these infections in her lungs because that's what happens when people stay in an ICU for a long period of time. Almost without exception. It's around in every hospital throughout the country. Just check the CDC. Why make a headline about 3 facilities that got on top of their infection right away?